train to the Plastic Underground. Approaching the station, please stand away from the platform edge. Okay, so here is my paper pattern I made. This is just a pretty quick paper pattern I just kind of taped together. And yeah, you kind of get that shape. So what I'm doing is I'm just transferring the template onto some 5mm foam. And I'm just going to cut out this whole rectangle and then go back through and mark where the seams need to be so that I can give them like a little bit of like a 45-degree cut on them. I think the back part is the only part that is more than a 45-degree cut. So you kind of have to play around with that a little bit to get your triangular shape just right. So that is the front piece. So as you can see, I put a bevel cut on both sides going inwards, and that gives you a 45 on both sides. So yeah, it's just one of those things where honestly this is the hardest part of the build, is to get your cuts right. I mean, if you do it by hand, you're kind of guesstimating what angles you're cutting everything at, but if you have like a saw or a bandsaw or a scroll saw, you can kind of set your angles. But I usually do everything by hand. I do have a scroll saw. I just never use it unless I'm cutting out like a thick piece of foam. So yeah, I'm just gluing everything together with contact cement as usual. You put it on both sides and stick it together when it dries, and everything sticks pretty permanently. And then so here is the back piece. Like I said, this angle is a little bit more severe. But yeah, you just basically just keep going till you get the shape that you're looking for just right. Yeah, so now that that is set, you're going to go ahead and put this on top of just a section of 5mm foam and just trace the outside so that you get your shape pretty close. And then from there, what I did is I cut all of that at an inward 45-degree angle. cut that whole piece out. Yeah, and I'm just making sure that it fits like it should, and it does. The part of the triangle also needs to get a 45-degree cut on the edges too. You can do that when it's flat on the table. It's a lot easier, but I forgot, so I did it when it was all glued together. And then so obviously once you do that, this fits together pretty well. Again, I use contact cement on this and stuck it together. It's okay if it has overhangs. I'm going to Dremel and clean it up with the sanding wheel. And then I'm just freehanding the shape here of the symbols, the fire symbols on the side. You can see I kind of marked the bottom to get my width set up so that they're kind of the same width. And now I'm just kind of drawing these basically backward C's, and it doesn't look exactly like the picture. Obviously, if you're doing it by hand, you could trace on paper the width and thickness of your part and get the actual design, the actual symbol, and trace that onto your prop. But for me, these are, they're carved out of stone, so I wanted to kind of have that, like, hand-made feel to it. So maybe I'm just saying that to cover up the fact that I know these are not perfect, and it maybe bothers me a little bit. But it does look hand-carved in the end, and it does all look great once it is painted and weathered, and you don't really notice that stuff. So I'm using this wood burner. This is my soldering iron with a different bit on the front. And I'm just going through and I'm just kind of melting in all of these designs and all these cracks all the way around here. Make sure that you wear a respirator because the fumes on this are pretty bad. I'm in a basement, so I have a window kind of next to me and I have a fan going at the same time. But definitely wear a respirator because that stuff's pretty toxic. It's real bad for you. Same thing with sanding. You're sanding off all the little foam dust and you're making real fine powdery toxic foam in your lungs. It's not great. It's really not great. Your lungs were designed to breathe air, so that's my tip for you. This is just a part, just some tin foil I crumpled up and I put it in front of the heat gun for a little bit till it gets almost too hot to touch. And just kind of pushing that against it just to kind of give it a little bit of texture. Then I go ahead and I spray 3 coats of Plasti Dip on the stone. I also had some stone textured paint. I didn't show you because the spray didn't work. I had to push a nail into the spray mechanism to get some splatters on there, so I don't recommend doing that. So I didn't want to show you me doing that. But it kind of worked because it came out randomly and gave me some actual sandy grit texture, which I like. So, yeah. Now I'm just using some craft paint. I forget what this is. I think this is called Rusted Pipe. And I'm just giving this base coat of this sandy beige color. And I'm just making sure to paint all of that pretty good. I go through now with a dark brown black mix, really watered down wash, and I just brush it on, and I'm just using my little microfiber here just to kind of dab and take most of that paint off and try to leave most of it in the recesses and the cracks and stuff. So yeah, you just kind of go quick, and this ends up staining the color underneath, so it kind of darkens up that light beige and also kind of holds some color in all of the recesses too. Later on I go through and I paint a lot of those cracks and carvings a darker color anyway, just to really make them stand out. So you'll see that in a minute. So yeah, just going with a brush here and just using some dark brown, and I'm just kind of tracing in all of these cuts that we made with the heat iron, the wood burner, and I just kind of brush these in kind of haphazard, and then I go around and I kind of can clean it up with my microfiber too if I get too crazy. So it's all about building texture, building color. You just keep adding stuff until you're happy. So you can even mix up different color browns, darker brown, lighter brown, and just keep adding more and more paint on top of each other. It just helps add layers and depth. So yeah, I was pretty happy with the way that these were looking. So now what I do is I give it all a dry brush. I bring back a real light tan color, and I really just try to brush all the high spots and edges and ridges, and just kind of bring back in some of that old stone worn out look, and also kind of mimics like dust and stuff that it's just been accumulating. So yeah, that is the last step. And that is it. That is the paint. That's how I did it. And yeah, hope you like it. Alright, so you saw the steps that I took to make the fire elemental stone from the 5th element. So I hope you guys make your own. These are pretty fun, quick, easy to build. And yeah, make your own. These look great on your shelf. And I hope you guys liked the video. Make sure that you like the video, comment on the video, tell me what you want to see me make, and yeah, share it with somebody who likes the 5th element. And I will see you guys next week when I try to make something else cool. Actually, the end of this month, the last 2 videos of this month are all Alien themed, because Alien also has an anniversary this month. So the next 2 videos are all from the original Alien movie. So I hope you stay tuned for that. Hope you're a fan of Alien, and I will see you guys in the next video.